Hello, everybody. It's your host, Khadijah D. This is the Hear Our Voices podcast where we tell stories. Changing, I should know this part by now, right, guys? I'm sorry, I failed you guys. I know I did. And I'm not going to take this out because this is how it really is. But we tell stories and change the narrative of homelessness. Thank you for coming back this week. Thank you for being a part of our family. I think that's the first time I actually messed up on the intro while I do it. But you know what? Nobody's perfect, and I'm not perfect. So here we are, and that's we have to take accountability of what we do in life. And I got to speak a little bit slower, and that is fine too. But whoever's listening to this, I hope you come on to learn and to understand the systems of homelessness, especially in New York City. This podcast is mostly focused in New York City. We do podcast stories from other states, but we usually don't do the issues from other states because we're so small of a group that we could only do mostly focus on New York. That's where we're based from. Maybe one day we get so big that we have multiple hosts from multiple states under the Hear Our Voices umbrella. But right now, we are mostly in New York City. We'll talk about federal things, but affects just the country in general, but mostly we're focused on our little not even New York State, really, not gonna lie to you. We mostly focus, like I said, on the five boroughs. And if you don't know what the five boroughs are, it's Brooklyn, the Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, you know, and Queens. That's what we really focus on. And we want to make sure that our people have the information and is informed about what's happening in New York City. So, guys, follow me on social media. We have TikTok, which we're trying to get back on. We have an Instagram, which we're trying to get back on. Also, we're still hiring for a person for the narrative change of the Fab. So what we need a person who likes to do social media, who like to help with the podcast. So if you're a person who's listening in and a person with lived experience, who's a parent in shelter in New York City, and it could be DV, it could be Path, long you are a parent who had experienced shelter in New York City, right? And it had a child under 21 while it was happening, you could definitely apply for this position and would love to have you. Obviously, we do interviews. You're just not going to say, I want to do it, and you get on. You have to go through an interview process. And yeah, so we want to get the most qualified candidate to come on here, probably help me with a few podcasts, or they could start their own. You never know. The possibilities are endless. And I like this particular job because we get to kind of have our ideas, brainstorm, and we get to kind of do with it. Like most jobs, you have a certain structure already there. We kind of have been doing our own structure and seeing what works for our group and pushing it out there. And the people in the back end was like, okay, we could do this and work with you here and there. And that's how we've been flowing. We're getting more organized this year, starting the Fab. It started on September 24th. And we have the policy, we have narrative change, and we have peer education. So if you think those fields in the future might work for you and we have more open positions, this will be the place to get all the information. So please follow us on here. If you're on YouTube and listening to this, follow us on YouTube. We have updates all the time. If you came from City Limits, please write in the description down below to tell me how you found us. Is it YouTube? Is it City Limits? Is it on Spotify? Tell me where you found us because we'd love to hear what you have to say. Yes. So that's a little bit of where we are and how we're doing things. We have a couple more things coming up for the year. We'll be doing our annual Christmas event that we give back to where we came from. People in our group are, I know it's a long introduction, guys, but I hope that you're entertained by it. People in our group are people who are impacted by homelessness, right? And we want to make sure, since we are out of homelessness, that we give back to the people we places we came from. So we do an annual Christmas event. So you'll hear more about that. If you want to give to the event, you can. If you don't, that's fine. But we do it every year. We also do giveaways on here. We give out stuff for Mother's Day one year. We do different things. So if you would like to be a part of those things, definitely follow us on these platforms so you know what's happening in our lives. And if you want to follow me, I'm always down below too. In the link tree, you can follow me on my personal social media, Khadijah D, and yes, it's my real name. And you could just be a part of my fam too. If you want to be a part of my life, I tell y'all my life. I give y'all a lot of vlogs. So if you want to follow me there too, you definitely can. But today we have a guest. As I feel like most days we have a guest, and it's not structured how we normally have it. This guest has been on before. Her name is Elizabeth. I work with her on the Impacted Advocates group. We call it AI, which I hate that framing because it sounds like a robot, and we're not robots, we're people. But we call ourselves AI. We're part of the City Hall Impacted Advocates group, and we're supposed to be basically our group is about lived experience people in New York City. And when I say lived experience, we all experience homelessness at one point in our lives, whether you're family, whether you're single, whether you're like veteran, whether you're a child, a youth, it doesn't matter. Long you experience some point in your life homelessness, you are able to come to the school. So that's how it started initially, right? And we come together and we're supposed to be hand in hand with City Hall when they have issues about homelessness. We're supposed to be getting informed about it. But we're going to get into that soon enough. But Elizabeth, tell us a little bit more. If you don't know, she was part of a podcast a couple of years ago, and she's back on as a recurring guest. So, yes, tell us what you're up to and about the Impact Advocates group from your perspective.
Hi, my name's Elizabeth. I'm with the Impacted Advocates Group. I'm a housing advocate and activist. Um, yeah, I love working with the group. I just want us to, help the people, um, like myself when I was in their situation, working with the mayor's office.
Yes. So, right now, a lot of things happen, right? And we're supposed to be able to give them our insight, the lived experience. A lot
Yeah.
of people who work in the city hall have never experienced homelessness. And if it is, people don't talk about it. And I'm not saying that everybody who has experienced homelessness should talk about their homeless experience, right?
Mhm.
People are just not ready. They don't want people to know about it. They're embarrassed. And the few of us who are courageous, because we survived the homeless experience, and some people are still actually homeless, and I feel like are in that group. Probably one person, maybe. I'm not sure everybody's life story. I'm pretty sure I feel like one person is. And it takes a lot, it takes a toll out of you, right? To be able to
It,
tell
it
your
does.
story and to be able to put that part of you out there. And there's most times for a lot of people when they are homeless, it's an embarrassing time. Like it's not like we're saying, oh, you won $1 million, oh, you want a free house. No, you were homeless. You had nothing.
Yeah, I understand the embarrassment, but I feel like some people it's not even embarrassment. It's just traumatizing.
That too.
So the trauma is too real for them to even say anything about it.
That's true.
Not everybody has the courage, to like step up to the plate and said, "Hey, this is what I went through. This is what me and my family went through." So it's kind of hard for some people to talk about.
Yes. So we in that group are supposed to be helping with certain things that happen um on like I feel like more housing and homelessness, but probably more homelessness. And I feel
Mhm.
like housing and homelessness should be more together.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like for some reason that's separated in New I don't know. It shouldn't be separated, but I feel like it is that they don't put housing and homelessness together when it technically the reason why people are homeless because they don't have housing, right?
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
we're supposed to be consulted on certain things. Most times, I feel like we're not. We're just kind of blindsided like everybody else. We find out when you find out, right? And we want to make sure that we are connected in that way, and to make sure that we can know what's up. A lot of times, I feel like people in government, a lot of times when they do stuff, they don't understand what the struggle has been.
Hmm.
It just happens to us and not happen for us, and that's one thing I think we have to work on, right?
Yeah.
Sure who's going to come in the seat. I don't tell you who to vote for in the elections coming up. That's not my job, right? My job is just to tell you the facts about each candidate. So right now I don't have that facts for you, so don't come for me. But I think you anybody who's listening should do their due diligence on who is running and
Yeah.
to make sure that that person fits their needs, not only just on homelessness, it could be on childcare, it could be on the aging population. Um, I feel like I said that aging population, make sure I pronounced
Yeah.
that properly. Um, and just different social issues that we have in our city, right? A lot of
Mhm.
things are happening day by day here. A lot of things are happening with the government in general right now. We are on a lockdown.
Yep.
So we have to make
Shut,
sure
shut down.
shut down. Right. We are in a shutdown. Lockdown sound like we in jail. but
Yeah.
it's I feel like you are in jail when you don't have benefits. Well, technically benefits
True.
are still going. Some of them they're going, but it's just
Yeah.
like if it prolongs for too long, what's gonna happen to the people who are
Yeah.
depending on those things, right?
That's what I worry about.
Yes. So that's another thing. So what's some things what's happening right now? What can be affected by all these shutdowns and things like that? Um, right now it's they said it's fine. That's what they said. I put my hands up like I don't that's what they tell me. I'm not on these services, so I don't really know how people are being affected. Granted, some of these systems already has been delayed from before. Example, food stamps.
Yeah.
People Food stamps, if you need it right away, supposed to be happening, I think, approximately sometimes the same day or it's up to 5 days, depending on if they think you have money. Have
Hmm.
that been happening for the past couple of years properly? I
I
don't think
don't
so.
think so.
People are telling you something else. Like the system tells you one thing, but people are actually getting affected a different way, right?
Yeah.
So if
Yep.
those things are already getting affected, right? What's going to happen when there's a shutdown? That means it's going to be even more of a delay, right? So
Yeah, because nobody's informing anyone. I tried to
exactly,
find information. Um, I'm tech savvy. What happened to the people that are not tech savvy?
exactly.
How are they getting their information out there
Say
when nothing's
grandma.
out there?
Say grandma or person with special needs who maybe doesn't know how to use a computer at that well. I'm not saying anybody with special needs cannot use it, but some people they cannot. Or
Yeah.
a person who can't see that well. My eyes are kind of going in the hole.
Yep.
And a person who cannot use technology that well or
Mhm.
find out these things or and the thing what bothers me also a lot of times people are
Mhm.
not getting notices. So things are happening to
Yeah.
them. They don't know what's actually happening until the
Yep.
benefit is cut off. They're like, "Oh, where's my benefits? You didn't know we was been in a shutdown since October and we're in January." No, I did not. I didn't
Mhm.
get a notice about it. So
Yeah.
I think that's some things they need to work on is giving notices to people. And it's not like you don't know where they live. You have their address, their social security number. You have if they went to the hospital last week, you know where they are if you need them.
Mhm.
So don't act like this is like a person you have to find a fugitive. It's not. You have this person's whole life story on where they have been in the past couple of years. So you know who they are, right?
Yep.
Um, we have to just make sure people are informed. I think that's a big thing. That's an I think this government in general has a communication problem, not just only with like even our group, but just with the people that they serve, right? The government works for us, right? And we have to make sure the government is always keeping us informed on what's actually happening. So I think that's another thing we need to work on as a people. And yeah, so I think keeping people informed of what's happening. Some of the other cuts they're trying to do is Section 8 cuts. From what I hear also, WIC is gonna be in a problem. And if you don't know what WIC is I feel like women and children. That's
Woman,
if
infant.
oh yes, women, infant, and children, I would assume.
Mhm.
Thank you. And that's supposed to be the money slowing down on that. Can you imagine having a baby and you can't have breast milk and the thing was helping you get the
Your
formula
breast
for your
milk.
child
Yeah.
you can't afford and then the program was helping you is not giving out any more money. So that means your child might be starving unless you go steal. Like that sounds very crazy to say a person will steal, but when you have a child who needs food and all they can survive on is formula and you have no breast milk to give or you can't give it because you might have
Yeah.
a disease or whatever, like or you just don't have enough breast milk, you are gonna if you're a good mom, you're probably gonna go steal for the food. Let's be honest. Like or ask somebody for money or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think they need to think about certain things like that and how these shutdowns are affecting the people and what benefits they're gonna get. A lot of people do rely on these benefits. They sure do.
I mean, what I've seen out on the streets, I've seen a lot more people lined up at pantries.
Yes,
So right now, that's concerning because benefits are still open. So I'm concerned about what happened when it's closed.
that is for sure. So one
Like,
of the
are
things,
those pantries are even gonna be opened? Like, what's gonna happen when? And then the city's not saying anything.
right, that's another thing because the city is not saying like they say certain things to extent
Hmm.
and the other things they keep their mouth very tight lip on. And because of that, it makes you think, what's going to happen to me in the next week? What's going
Yeah.
to happen to me in the next month? How is this going to affect me? Especially if you work for the city or work for a government job, because if they're on shutdown, like some
Hmm.
people are not working because it affects everybody in a whole, and
Yeah.
that's very hurtful in general. So one of the things people are doing or the cities are doing to kind of, I think, roll back to say they can get money in a different way is by one example for the city FEPS. If you don't know,
Hmm.
guys, city FEPS is going up for people in the 6 year 40%. That's something a couple of my groups we talked against, but it seemed like it's gonna happen. They're pushing it through, right? It's happening.
No, I think it went through already.
Yeah. But stuff go through and it don't actually happen because it's
Hmm.
city FEPS been in court for a couple of years for other stuff.
True. True.
So but it went through. If you don't know, City FEPS is a voucher in New York City, and it's based on your how much you make, and it's 30% of what you make. You have to have a PA case to have this thing. People who have written the shelter or went to PATH, um, drop-in centers can get a City FEPS voucher, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So a lot of the vouchers are 30% of what you make. So the person they proposed to us and actually passed that after the fifth year, mind you, these programs technically only supposed to be for 5 years, but New York City pushes on usually after five if they think that you like if you say I still need this voucher, they'll
Yeah.
stay on it after that. So they're saying technically we only promised you 5 years, but if you want a sixth and seventh and eighth, ninth, 10th year from us, we're gonna charge you 10% more, which is 40%. Okay. When you hear that, what do you when you hear that, Elizabeth, what do you
Yeah. Survival of the fittest.
right,
Because you all right, put it like this. You only ask for the help because you need the help. But
right,
now I have to pay more. Can I even afford that more? Yes, I have a job, but can I afford it?
exactly,
Because if I had a job that I could pay the full rent, I would be asking you for that help in the first place.
exactly.
Especially when you have kids.
Exactly. And a lot of families are actually on this program.
Yes.
A lot of family shelters, this is what they give out. This is like the most used voucher in New York City. I think probably besides Section 8, and Section 9, like those are very high vouchers in New York City. And New York City shelters, it's like in the shelter world, this is the highest given out voucher. Like because that's what they have and that's what they've been using. Before they had this, they had the Link program. Plus this, they
Yeah.
have FEPS program. But the FEPS was like community. City FEPS is for shelter itself, right? And they are not understanding the population they're actually working with.
No,
They
I don't.
they don't get it. If food is going up, rent is going up, so you have to pay that extra rent anyway. Plus, if it's a family, your kids don't stop growing. They
No,
keep
they don't.
growing. You have to buy new clothes,
Yeah.
new shoes.
I, I
Yeah,
feel like that's why I feel for the families. So if you have mom making 35 a year,
right,
dad making 35 a year.
right.
Oh, they're making 70K a year. Yeah, that sounds a lot, but it's not.
It's not
Especially when you have 3 to 4 kids.
exactly.
It's not a lot. Hence why they say, "Hey, can I need we need help to pay for rent." And then now you want to take it up. Can we survive? We don't know. And then if you take away everything, like what the federal wants to do, how are these people going to survive? They got to be like, okay, so what are we paying this month? Are we going to pay the rent or are we going to buy food?
Or you're gonna pay for light. These
That too.
are the things. Do we have to buy candles and use matches because that's cheaper than having light?
Yep, yep.
What are we doing? And I think especially when food prices are going up and clothes prices are going up, I think we have a tariff, right? I feel like that's still on the plate. I don't even know. The tariff was in the news for a couple of months and it kind of died down. But not because it died down doesn't mean it's not happening still. The tariff, depending how you want to pronounce it. I'm not sure that went away yet. So it's like
Yeah.
we have all these things compounding on our lives. And for you to say 10% is up to put it up is kind of
Yeah,
ridiculous.
10% is a lot.
And you might 10% when you're in a store trying to get a discount, 10% doesn't seem like a lot. But when you gotta pay, when
Couple
you have
$1,000.
exactly, that's a lot. That is a lot.
Yep.
10% from 100 is like, okay, a little $10, like whatever. But when you have to, and you're saving that still
Hmm.
don't seem like a lot. Like, but when you have to pay 10% extra in rent,
Yeah.
come on. That's too much. People are struggling out here.
I
It's
mean, they're struggling on the 30%.
exactly. That's what I don't understand. If people are struggling and going back rent and all these things on 30%, how in the world are they going to survive on 40% of this thing? Granted, it's already passed. So it's like,
Yeah.
do, but honestly, we don't have to stop here. I know it seems like
Hmm.
a dumb thing to like say, like, they already passed it. Anything was passed can be revoked.
Hmm.
I really believe so. So if we want to do this when a new administration comes in, anything
Yeah.
is possible. So if anybody who's listening to this and is working on that kind of project, I'm definitely okay to come in and be a spokesperson for you. Even though I don't have the
Yeah.
voucher, I would love to still be a person. I know people who are on it. They're like 40% is too much. 40% is not doable. They're barely making it with the 30.
Yep. They're barely making it with the 30. Like I said, they got to figure out, am I paying rent this month? Are we eating? I mean, especially if you have kids, you have to eat. And I understand there's pantries out there, but this is my frustration with a pantry. If I have two or three kids,
Right.
all three kids don't eat the same thing. And
Exactly.
what that pantry is giving me is like, am I feeding one child out of this?
That's
Because
true.
I don't know who makes up that food bag to
Right.
say, well, is this what you're supposed to eat? What about the culture issue? Some people are like, I we don't eat that food. That's not
Right.
our culture.
Right.
Um, so sometimes I was like, do I want to go to a pantry because I feel like I'm wasting my time because the kids won't eat half the stuff. They're gonna eat the cereal, but then where's the milk? That's not happening.
So I've done a pantry. Well, I did one.
Hmm.
I need to go there more often, to be honest, to volunteer.
Yeah.
And the way we do the pantry near my house, you just bring a bag and you go to each station and you take out what you want to take. But they give you a certain
Okay.
amount of it. So the pantry I actually was doing the other day, there's like most people were black, but they had people like Asian people who came in and they certain things they don't want to eat. So they didn't take
That's
that.
what I'm
that day.
saying.
So they took only what they wanted and
Hmm.
that's what we gave them. So like if you didn't want a certain thing, you just didn't have to take it. You just say no and go to the
Yeah.
next one.
But not every pantry
Pantries
does it
like
like
that.
that.
I
So it's
know.
like the family's like, okay, do we have to hit 3, 4 different pantries, um, just to get our food, just
Right.
to pay our bills? Like, what is the help? And then say you say, okay, I'm gonna pay rent this month,
Hmm.
but because I'm paying rent this month, I'm backed up with my light bill
Right.
because we have already hit, the food pantry. So we got food for maybe 2 weeks. So I'm like, okay, how can I go to my HRA center? I said, hey, I need help with the light bill when they are closed.
Exactly.
So what are people supposed to do? Like, and then how do you see the doctors if Medicaid is shut down? Like, there's no information going out to say, what are we doing when this happens? Or New York City, do you have a plan already to say if it happens, this is what we're gonna do? Nothing. I cannot find anything out there, and I'm tech savvy.
That's another thing too. New York City, I feel it's like American. I'm not sure if about other countries, 'cause I live in America, right? If you didn't know, now you
Hmm.
know. And it seemed like we wait till a problem is happening to catch up on it. No, we don't need to play catch up when the problem is happening. Same thing with COVID. We need
Yeah.
to have a plan, a contingency plan in place before a problem happens. This is not the first shutdown that we had.
Yeah.
This is the second one in the past, I think, 6 or 7 years. So
Hmm.
that means you knew this could happen or before already, and you was not prepared the second time. Okay, the first time I catch you off guard, but the
Yeah,
second time,
I know.
no way, no way. How dare you have us in here paying your taxes every year? I pay taxes and have the audacity not to use my tax money for the things that I need the tax money to be used for,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
putting up a contingency plan. Y'all up there doing foolishness, but y'all
Mm-mm.
can't think of if a government shut down again, what to make sure the people are not
Yeah,
suffering.
inform people.
Like, come on.
Because I feel like some people, if centers are open and they're trying to go get help somewhere, they probably didn't even know. Because I know some people, they don't even watch the news.
I don't
They
either.
don't even have social media.
Right.
So how are they gonna get informed about anything?
Exactly. It's
Even
crazy.
I even checked the app,
Yeah.
Access HRA.
Right.
There's nothing in there.
So even if you was tech savvy to use the app that they gave you, there's nothing to even inform you in the app that
No.
they
Nope.
made
Yep.
about the
I
services.
used Propel because we need a Propel.
Right.
And Propel, informed me that, hey, although there's a shutdown, you'll still get your benefits this month. And I was like, okay,
Mm,
somebody's telling me something.
right.
Um, but what's gonna happen in the future? Do I have to wait for a nonprofit that made something um, because the city's not, doing what they're supposed to do? Am I gonna depend on those nonprofits to give me information? Like, what am I supposed to do?
And that's the thing about it. The reason why you even know about nonprofits giving information is because you do this work, right? What about
Yes,
a person who's not
not.
part of this field? They are going to be confused and don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Why are you making your people suffer? And
Mm.
why is we live in the Hunger Games for no reason? It doesn't
True.
make sense.
True.
We don't live in Mississippi. No offense to Mississippi or Alabama, because y'all look like y'all struggling on your own stuff right now. Y'all have much more. Before the shutdown happened, y'all had more bigger fish to fry at this point.
Hmm.
But it's just like we live in a big city with
Yeah.
thousands, millions of people. Why are y'all not getting this together? Like I don't understand it. It just doesn't make sense. I think we need to just they need to inform us more,
Yes, they
get it
do.
out to all populations. For the aging, maybe go door to door to them, even though I feel like it's just weird with door to door with elderly people take advantage of people who are older. So they don't know as not
Yeah,
they don't know
they
as
do.
much, but it's like they find a way to con them more because they're not up to date on everything. So maybe like a senior center, maybe go to a church where they go to and give
Hmm.
information that way might be the best way to give to that population. But you need to make sure that they're informed about what's happening and making sure they're not getting scammed because anytime something happens, there's a scammer out there way to take an opportunity of something. Like
Yep,
in
that is true.
COVID, it was COVID scammers was scamming. They were not
Hmm.
playing. So
They were happy.
exactly. So it's like we need to make sure while we're keeping people informed, we have to keep them safe and making sure they get the right information
Yeah,
and not giving things out to other people they're not supposed to. So these are the things that problems that we have in general and how things are going. And the
yeah,
government is just kind of failing us. And I know, granted,
yeah.
our group works along with them.
Hmm.
They have some things that needs to be fixed, but we need to be informed as a people of what's happening.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about it.
And
And
I just thought because, well, everyone that has their Access HRA app,
right,
whether you don't get snaps or cash,
right.
you maybe childcare or maybe you're getting you have a voucher.
Yes.
Put the information out there. It's not.
It's not hard.
It's not there.
It's not even hard to
Nothing's
put
there.
on. It's
Not everyone watches the news,
not everyone watches the news.
you know? So it's like I feel like that's what they should do, inform everyone. But they're not. It's very sad.
Also, with informing, like we talked about before about the city FEPs going up 40%. People who are on city FEPs right now does not know that is happening.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another thing. Like that's a thing was actively happening and is going to happen unless that person who comes in administration comes in soon. If they change that and say, you know what? Probably this is too much for people. And they say no, that's the only way it could be stopped. But people don't know this is happening to them.
Mm.
It's gonna be like, oh, the bill is high. And the sad thing about it, because the city is so behind and stuff with city FEPs and like paying their bill and sending out notices, they might not find out that they're behind till a year later. Just the sad part about it. So
True.
they're paying the same 30% for the whole year, not realizing their rent has gone up for them, and they have been getting 10% for over a year. That's 12 months. 10% times 12 is a lot.
That is a lot.
When you've been already been struggling on the 30. So now the city paying your rent late because they pay they pay childcare late, they pay housing late. They pay late plus you're 10% behind for 12 months.
And then
That
if you ask them for that 10% help because you didn't know, they're not
ex-
going to give it to you.
exactly. Then you're in housing court because you didn't know and things were behind.
Mhm.
And then
All of that could have been,
avoided.
yep.
Another thing too. You think they're gonna stop at city FEPs? No. That'd
No,
be
they're not.
funny. They're gonna go to FEPs.
Hmm.
They can go to Section 8. They can go to Section 9. The buck is not gonna stop here
No, it's not going to
unless we
stop.
make them stop it.
Mhm.
Think about that. So these rollbacks or whatever they want to do, it's not gonna stop with just one program. They try to cut everything anyway. So it's not gonna stop with just one. It's only started here. It's not gonna stop here. And that's the scary part
That
about
is a scary part.
it. It's a scary part. Which cuts do you think
Mhm.
is gonna affect the people the most?
Um, it's hard because a lot of people depend on a lot. I want to say food, but then I also want to say housing, but then I also want to say medical. So it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot
It is.
because some people, you know, are on all these programs.
Right.
Some people are also getting SSI. If everything gets cut and they have a disability, what are these people going to do? Like picture a 35-year-old woman.
Mm-hmm.
She was healthy. She got in a car accident, so she can't work anymore because she's in a wheelchair.
Right.
She can still use her hands. She is looking for jobs that she doesn't even qualify for because, um, you know, she used to do other stuff and now she has to either sit beside a computer or try learn a new trade, because she doesn't want to be on these programs.
Right.
But now she has to because she has, two kids.
Right.
So you think about her. Her rent's getting paid. Um, she gets cash from SSI. She's getting food stamp for her kids. She's getting Medicaid. Now you close all these down. She still hasn't finished her trainings to do, learn another skill set. Like, she's in transition. What does somebody like that, and she's also a single mother,
Right.
how do you help someone like that?
You know what they're gonna do first though? Can you guess?
Housing?
No. They're gonna take her kids away because she can't take care of them. That's the first thing they're probably gonna do. They're gonna say she's first of all, when you're in a
Mm-mm.
disabled community, they like to target, from what I understand,
Wow.
much more because they're disabled. So you can't take care of your kid. You can't. I went to the disability office. That's not what they call it though. They call it
Mm-hmm.
accessibility office in the school that I'm in. And I went to a meeting with people who are like way worse than I am, like wheelchairs. I'm saying like one is better than other, but like they have
Yeah.
other disabilities that like really more hinder them than what happened to me, right? And they said they are, which I knew this, but to hear from this population's mouth, they are targeted as parents with with situations, right? So because they have this handicap already in a way, well, technically that's what it is, the system likes to work against them. So you said this person is now they used to work, they're in a wheelchair, they have kids, they're on all these government assistance. The first thing they're gonna say, you can't take care of a kid, you're in a wheelchair. Not saying a person in a wheelchair can take care of the kids, but that could be like, oh, you can't work, you can't get a job. How you gonna feed the kids? How you gonna feed the kids? That means if the government think that the kids are being, not saying that she's harming them like physically, but like
Yeah.
she can't take care of them, that might be the first thing we take away, right?
Wow.
Then because she can't
Very
find a
sad
job,
to hear.
it is sad to hear. Another thing is going to be harder to find a job because she is disabled, right? So it's
Hmm.
going to be hard to find a job in general. So it's like that's going to be on the kind of on the rocks. Then if you take away the food stamps, the housing, what's going to happen? She's going to be on the street.
Yep.
Be on the street. How does that
Me,
look?
that's all I can see. People going to the shelter. And I'm like, are they even gonna have capacity to fill um those shelters?
Right.
Are the shelters even gonna be open? Is money gonna be, funded for those stuff? Like what's gonna happen? Nobody's saying anything.
That's another thing, as you said. If the shelter is going to be open, probably yes, in a way, because a lot of the shelters are owned by, I feel like, nonprofits, like when Canva, places like those do own the
Yeah,
shelters.
but aren't they
A lot of them
dependent
get paid
also
from other
from it?
stuff sources, yes.
Okay.
Like the C, if you could look this up online, I do work for the COC, not work for them, but like I do,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the steering committee chair,
Consulting.
not
Mm-hmm.
chair, but I hold a seat, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
and they help with I want to say is when a couple of people with like what do you call it, with housing in general, right? Supportive
Mm-hmm.
housing and stuff like that. If those stuff, because it's COC is a governmental thing, and we see that the cuts are happening, when those get cuts and it kind of trickles down, other things are gonna start breaking down eventually. It might not happen right away, but it's gonna trickle down to those things, and it might end up being closed, even though they are nonprofits and they get money from different places, like philanthropy stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
those, to me, in my mind, the governmental money gives the most. The other people are just
Yeah.
like kind of subbing in a little bit, but the government money is usually the bulk of the money. What I see going in. So how's that gonna work? It's a lot.
Mhm.
It's really a lot.
So it's gonna be what, a first come first serve in the shelter?
It could be a
Oh
dog
my
eat dog
god.
world out here. Is and you know how like it might go back to how it was before.
Mm-mm.
Before, if they think you didn't qualify, you didn't even come in the shelter. You have to say that they have to see that you're qualified to actually go through. Now, that day they'll put you somewhere in the shelter, no matter what, and then, until they do the investigation, they'll keep you in the shelter. Before, they were like, "Oh, you couldn't even get a room." It might go back to that way, like they used to do back in the day.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Because don't get me wrong, if you don't
Mhm.
know, you have to prove yourself to be well. And family
Yeah.
shelters is different. Adult shelters is much different than our shelter, but
Hmm.
family shelters you have to prove to yourself to be eligible to be in the shelter. So you're not gonna like if you can't say, "Oh, I just
I
moved
mean, back
here."
in the day, you had to do that too. I want to say 20 years ago,
Right.
they had a stuff called Fast Track, and they don't care who you were. You would get like a hotel room for the night. You would not get stay in a shelter until they said they did their investigation and be like, okay, so you are eligible.
That's nice. When I was going to shelter, let me see. My daughter's 10.
Hmm.
10 years ago. They told me you can't come to shelter. They gave me nowhere to stay, no hotel, no
Wow.
shelter at all. Nothing. And I went to the shelter, I went to PAP several times. Luckily, I ended up finding somebody, but they didn't have like that person
Hmm.
documented that I would go there. But if you don't know my story, my husband had called somebody, ended up going to that person's house until my daughter was born. So, but initially I had the street to go to. I was
Wow.
trying to sleep on the subway. And PATH did not care where I was going. They didn't care if the person was cursing at me because they were. They didn't care if I was getting
But
home.
that's the thing, you were
Yeah,
pregnant, so they're supposed to accept you.
exactly. Exactly. And they didn't give me a place to pee.
Mm-mm.
Nothing. The most they gave me is the disgusting lunch what they had in there with the sandwiches, and I didn't eat that. That's the most they
The
gave
cold
me.
sandwich in the fridge.
Exactly. So now they'll at least place you somewhere until they find you eligible, yes or no, which is a
Mhm.
good thing. But the sad part about it, you could go a year without being eligible. Just another sad part. I know people who went through the shelter system whole year, not eligible for anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. 20
So,
years ago, I met people with kids, and they were not eligible for nearly 2 years, going back and forth to hotels every night, which
and
was
that takes a
ridiculous.
toll on a person, on the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine being a kid and it's like a new adventure every day? Adventures are nice for like a week, but for 2 years,
Yeah.
you're gonna go insane.
That's what I'm saying. They need to communicate like what is going to happen. What do they have in place? Do they have anything in place?
That's the
Did
thing.
they think about it yet? Or maybe that's why they did not inform anybody. I don't know.
That
No idea.
they have a plan. I don't think their plan is actually to help people. That's the problem. That's the crazy part about it.
I just feel like a lack of communication is not helping people because some people they're like, you know what, um, my logical thinking is gonna happen. We're gonna figure it out when it happens.
Right.
But not everybody thinks like that. Some people want to start planning. Should I be hoarding food? What should I be doing? Um, is there anything I can do to help myself? Before this starts, like what's gonna happen? I can just see chaos. That's all I can see because I don't know the plan in place. The city's not putting anything out there. If they can't even inform people that, hey guys, you will get your benefits for October because there's a shutdown happening right now. We don't know when it will end, but you will get your benefits for October. Are you going to get it for November? We don't know. But you're not even getting that.
That's
So it's insane, you know, for them not to even put that out to notify the public that's on the benefits.
my heart go out to people who are on benefits
Yeah.
because I feel like was I on this benefits the last time I was shut down? I don't remember. I don't remember it affecting me at all. But this is the second time and stuff has been going rough this year. So I don't know what's
Mm-hmm.
really gonna happen. My hearts go out to you and your family. Or if you're a single person, my heart go out to you. I hope that you do not starve. I hope that you get medical attention that you when you can. I hope that you get all the things that you need and this does not affect you as bad as we think it's gonna affect you because things are getting pretty frightening out here for people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the most it might be affect me is my section 9 because I live in NYCHA. But
Mm-hmm.
at this moment, this is not going to affect us right now. It might affect us next year. We'll see what happens to those kind of things. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm not right now. I'm not in like in a panic. I'm making God take the wheel and that's it. I'm not in a panic of what's happening to me. But people who are on those programs should be in a slight panic because you just don't know what's happening. And the
Yeah.
sad thing, people are on this program right now because they're not informing them. They don't even have time to panic. It's just going to happen to them and they're not going to know what to do. And we'll
Mm-hmm.
see what happens when there's a crisis. We saw what happened in COVID. People are fighting over tissue. Can you imagine fighting over toilet paper? Like,
Mm-hmm.
these are the problems.
Yeah.
Tissue is not cheap. Things are not cheap. Food stamps honestly is not even that high. If you think not food stamps, that also is not high. But the cash system part of the PA is already not high. So you might think, oh, I could buy a little Snicker bar from you could, on the food. I could buy a new broom this month. But if you knew you didn't have the money coming out next
Yeah.
month, would you not buy the broom and buy something else that you might need? You might need to buy
Exactly.
pads. You might need to buy a notebook for your child to write in school. You
Yeah.
that money can go for something else instead of buying a broom. And that's so sad. You got to think about
Mm-hmm.
room or a
It's just a
notebook.
necessity. Like what necessities I have to get. What
Exactly.
can I wait for?
And then there's like example, lotion. People are like, what's lotion? But if we're a person who have eczema, lotion in the wintertime coming
Mm-hmm.
up, it eczema when it's eczema is so painful. I have eczema and it burns and you want to itch it and it burns so much. You might say you don't need lotion. I
Yeah.
do. I actually do. Summertime is over. It's getting chilly
Yep.
outside.
Yep.
The winter is coming for my skin every
Yep.
time.
It is coming.
So can you imagine tell somebody, oh, a broom or lotion is the options or a pad that I need to get? Like, These are the wild things people have to go through
Mhm.
every day. If you have money, you're not gonna understand.
No.
You're
Yep.
not gonna get it.
Totally. Mhm.
It's like these are the basic things that you think like everybody should have these things. But if I don't have the money, I cannot get these things. So every month I have to grapple with myself. What do I need more? Do I need gas, light? Do I need to pay my rent? Do I need to pay for my food? Do I gotta pay for diapers? Do I gotta pay for wipes? Can I just use toilet paper and just wet it and my child will hopefully be okay? Like these are things that parents and people in general have to think about. While the government is doing whatever they're doing, people out here really living the life and is struggling.
Yeah.
Struggling.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I don't know. If you could put a magic wand out there, Elizabeth,
Hmm.
what would the things you think should be done right now to be able to help people?
I just feel like knowledge and education.
Right.
Let people know what's going to happen. Let them get help if they need to get help now. Like, what can I do? What's going to happen if my rent can't be paid? Is my landlord going to put me out? Or speak with the landlord. It's like, hey, even if the city say, hey, we have a plan. Can we talk to you guys? Can you, not take people to court and hold off because we are working on XYZ? Like, what is going? Nobody knows what's happening,
Right.
because they're not informing anybody. Um, because it's like if there's gonna be no money, no food, my worry is pantries are gonna be open? Is hospitals are gonna be open? Like what's gonna happen?
What's next?
Yeah,
Shut down.
I all I'm seeing is chaos because there's no information out there.
And if
You
we're in New York City, who's kind of more informed compared to other states, I can imagine what smaller states who is like, I feel like New York is different because we're so on top of each other. So
Yeah.
information can get passed by word of mouth faster.
I've
But
had people coming from different states and be like, "Yeah, I left New York. I have to come back because that state I moved to, I don't get any type of health care.
yeah,
So I have to move back." People move back to New York for a whole lot of reasons,
right.
especially when it comes to benefits.
Y'all talk about our rats and roaches, well, rats problem.
Yeah,
But people, when you need health insurance, that rat don't seem as important
exactly,
anymore.
exactly, exactly.
So, but yeah, I feel bad for the people, the states that is people are living 7 miles away from each other and they can't get informed. They just it's just
Yep.
they're not all of a sudden food stamps are not working. They don't understand why, and they're calling on the phone a
Hmm.
1-800 number to get
Can't get
about an
nobody.
hour to get to a person just to get one. Oh, sorry, benefits is not coming this month.
Hmm.
But if I knew it ahead of time, I probably would have stocked up better or bought things in a certain way. Before it
Yeah,
got
that's why I feel like knowledge is power. If you start empowering people, earlier on, then people could try to figure out because I just feel like that's what's going to happen. If you're dependent on the government and the government is not giving you anything and didn't even notify you,
right.
it's like, I don't want to say Wild West, but that's what it's going to feel like to me. Because then, like I say chaos because it's like whoever has the food, people are gonna get, antsy and be like, okay, I'm gonna just walk in and take out what I need, and that's it.
And food's gonna rise even more than it is now.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the thing, and that means more people gonna be in jail. So it's like an on
Will
and
they can they even feed the people in jail? What are they gonna do? All that's government money. So they gonna what? Stop feeding the people in jail and then let them out? Like what's gonna happen?
I don't know.
Everything is like government funded. So
Can you imagine going to work and not getting paid if you work in a jail? I would just quit.
crazy.
I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
quit. Bye.
Mhm. Mhm.
I would be so upset. Not
Mhm.
you make my life go in
That's
danger.
what I'm saying. I'm thinking about the hospitals. Like nurses are not getting paid for a month. Do you think they're gonna stay?
And it's hard to
Mhm.
retain nurses now as it is. So it's like the nurses made in COVID made the world go round. Like we
Yeah.
have more
Yep.
nurses than doctors from what I understand. So it's like
Mhm.
that's a problem.
Mhm. Home health aides, they were
Oh
needed.
my gosh.
So,
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
mhm.
But yes, guys, there's a lot of
Mhm.
problems happening around us. And I hope this podcast in general, I know we're just talking and just saying random, like it seems very random, but they all intersect with each other.
Yeah, they
A lot
do.
of they connect with each other, right?
Everything connects.
It does. It does. I hope this was informative of what cuts
Mhm.
might be happening to you and might be involving you in the future. And you might have a job one day, and then next month you don't have a job anymore because it's the shutdown, and you need to be on these benefits, but you can't go on because there's nothing to go
Yeah,
to.
to go to.
So, be wisely how you spend your money. Be educated on what's happening around you. If you need a list of pantries, I can definitely give you that. I know my church does one is in Brooklyn, but if we need one in other boroughs, I can definitely give you that information to make sure that you're at least fed. The
Yeah.
red part, I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that, but I can make sure you're at least eating good.
Yeah.
Um, what I would love to put up, but we don't have time to talk about this in
Mhm.
depth, is more cash transfer programs to make sure that people can have those and making sure they can have the money that they need to survive in general that can help you pay with rent or any other expenses that you might come up with in your life. So that's something I think we need to push on. But like, can we fund that and we can't fund anything else? Is kind of crazy. So it's like we need the programs we have as PA cases plus cash for those actual programs too. So it's like a lot of things happening, and it's kind of chaotic, and a lot of things are happening all wrong at the same time. But we have to push through it. We are people that is resilient. I
Yeah.
feel like we shouldn't have to be this resilient, but here we are, and we have to just make it through and push through on what the upward way. And yeah, so that's a little bit what's happening in our community in New York City. And I hope this, if you want to comment down below what's happening in your state and what you're seeing actually happening, because we might just be talking about New York and maybe the other states are doing amazing. Maybe
Yep.
worse than us. I don't know. I don't live over there, right? I only live in my little neck of the woods over
I
here.
know some states are getting checks.
Ooh.
Not sure who, but I know New York ain't getting anything.
I think I heard something about New York getting a check for something, but I don't forgot what it is and who's getting it. So I
Like
don't
$400, I think.
I think
But it depends on your pay scale or tax something.
that's a problem. I probably won't get nothing back from them because they say I make money when I don't make 100K, so I don't make that much money. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't get no services. I only got NYCHA, but NYCHA's a big help. Even though
Yeah.
our buildings are falling apart, as you know, in the Bronx last week, the building has fell apart. La Last night in Brooklyn, the lights came off in buildings. So, there's a lot happening with NYCHA, and it's very coincidental that this is happening all in the government shutdown, and these are government run places. So it's interesting what's happening at this moment. I'm
Mhm.
not a conspiracy theorist, so I'm not going to put it out there, but I'm hearing people on the internet about what's happening with the government plus what's happening with NYCHA. So I'm
Yeah.
just giving you a little, if you want to look it up on TikTok
Yeah.
and go there for the conspiracy theories of what's happening right now. But it might be some truth to it. You just never know.
Yep.
There's
Yep.
a lot
True.
people are fighting with. So yeah.
Mhm.
But yes, thank you for coming in. Thank
It
you for
was
listening.
nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too. And come check us out next time, guys. And hopefully this is informative about what it is. If you hear any topics on here that you want us to expound on, we can. Hopefully next week. Hopefully I drop this week. Hopefully next week. We have more guests on the show. We're trying to do like a round table. If you want to come on the podcast, you are welcome anytime. We talk about different topics. I really don't have a proper agenda. I probably should get better at that, but I just like talking. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. So I could talk about any topic when I know something a little bit about it and give you my thoughts on it, my opinions about it. But yeah. Anyway, guys, talk to you next time.